Local Candidates begins this Friday, March 25, and as we're going to show you tonight, all politics is local. But first, a slice of national politics. The president's political party, at least half of or a faction of it, has endorsed the candidacy of survey frontrunner Bongbong Marcos. That was the announcement this morning. The other half, or the other faction, has Manny Pacquiao, but of course, he's running as strongly standard bearer. In November last year, President Duterte rejected an alliance with the CMD, his daughter's party, because she's running with Bongbong Marcos. The President called Marcos a weak leader. PDP Laban was founded by Nene Pimentel, Ninoy Aquino, and Lorenzo Catani Tanyada. Nene's son, Coco, pointed out the party was founded to oppose the Marcos dictatorship, and now it has endorsed the candidacy of the late dictator's son. Good evening, I'm Davao. Welcome to your weekly political appointment fix, politics as usual. Like we said, we begin tonight with national politics. Joining us now via Zoom is Senator Coco Pimentel of PDP Laban. But Senator Coco, before we talk, we're going to listen to a few sound bites this morning.
In due time, he will speak. Hindi naman tayo gagawa ng desisyon na magiging lihis sa pananaw din ng ating chairman.
It's only BBM na wala siyang sinabi, walang masamang sinabi kay Pangulong Duterte. In fact, pagkatapos ng mga nasabi sa kanya, he's still willingly saying na itutuloy ko kung ano yung sinimulan ni Pangulo.
So how a PDP Laban, no, which has merged during the time of President Cory Aquino, no, can now support the candidacy of their founding fathers' nemesis is beyond any principled choice.
Senator Coco Pimentel joining us live via Zoom. Good evening, Senator.
Good evening, Pia, and good evening to all the viewers. Yes.
Are you calling Bongbong Marcos Adolf or Adolf Hitler Jr. now?
I use that analogy so that people will understand that PDP Laban was formed precisely to fight for our freedom, for our democratic values, for human rights and human dignity during the time of the Marcos martial law regime. So I use the analogy of if we were in Germany, no political party formed to oppose Adolf Hitler will support Adolf Hitler Jr. So sana klaro yung analogy ko at madaling maintindihan.
Ang sabi ni Secretary Cusi kanina sa press conference is that when he was asked precisely about that, no, that the party that was formed to oppose the dictatorship or the dictator is now endorsing the dictator's son, ang sinasabi niya is we have moved forward. What does that sound like to you when the PDP Laban Cusi faction says we have moved forward, and what would you say if you were told that to your face?
Yeah, he has no right to determine the direction of PDP Laban. In effect, he's saying that they want to hijack the party, but we are resisting the hijacking of the party. Talo lang kami mga kababayan sa media war kasi may mga media hunters yan sila, well-funded sila, kami wala. So, pero the reality is the legitimate members of PDP Laban, the old-timers, those who have sacrificed for the party, they are not for Bongbong Marcos. We have already made our decision in a formal proceeding. We are for Senator Manny Pacquiao for president. So, hindi po kami nadadala. Pero siyempre, dinadaan lang tayo sa media blitz and media relations handling. So, yun lang po ang nangyayari. But kami po, hindi kami nawawala ng landas. Alam namin yung direction po namin. And we also know our history. We know our constitution. We know our basic party principles. Kasama po dyan ang human dignity, consultative and participatory democracy, federalism, ayan po And Bongo Marcos does not stand for all of these principles.
Resisting the hijacking of the party, there are petitions, a petition before the COMELEC, well, to determine which one is the so-called real PDP Laban.
Yes.
It is less than 50 days to go before the elections. Are you going to get a decision, you think, anytime soon? And is that going to make things clearer for you?
It was Secretary Cusi who filed the petition. So I think that petition should be acted upon immediately by the COMELEC. And they should dismiss it. And we will actually move for its immediate dismissal by using as part of our evidence what they did today. Because they just showed the Filipino people that they really know nothing about the party. Because they are just usurpers, pretenders, hijackers of PDP Laban. So we will use what happened today as evidence against them that they are not legitimate PDP Laban members. And which is really true kasi if I look at the people are surrounding him or around Secretary Cusi, ngayon ko lang po nakikita mga pagmumukha nila in a so-called party event. Mga baguhan lang lahat yan. So they have no right to determine the direction of PDP Laban.
And in that event, the Bagong Lipunan theme song was played, Senator Coco, and I'm sure you heard that earlier. Do you think that this means the endorsement by the PDP Laban Cusi faction? Do you think that this means this is already an endorsement or an endorsement from President Duterte for Bongbong Marcos is coming soon?
I hope not, and because if the president wants to endorse a candidate, why cannot he do it by himself or directly? So, and then if he endorses Marcos, what happens to the words that he has spoken against Bongbong Marcos? So, kakainin niya po lahat yun. So, this is not an endorsement from the president because an endorsement must come from the president's mouth, no? But if this is, then he's eating his own words. I mean, how will we explain his criticism of Senator Bongbong Marcos as a presidential candidate? Sinabi yata niya, he is a weak leader and some other criticisms.
Yeah, and of course, everyone's waiting for what's going to happen next, kung ano yung, or if there will be a plot twist to this. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Senator Coco Pimentel.
Thank
But
you,
like we
thank you.
said,
Yeah, thank you.
all
Yeah,
politics is local. We're going local when we come back.
SMC, San Miguel Corporation. Bisag unsang industriya ang sudlan niini, tinguha sa SMC ang pag-uswag o paglambo sa mga Pilipino. Karon, gikan sa SMC, aniya na ang SMC Davao Cement. SMC Davao Cement. Gama sa Davao, para sa Mindanao. SMC Davao Cement. Ato ni Bay.
Welcome back. This is Politics as Usual. Gregorio Goyola Razabal is better known or best known as a former Comelec commissioner, having served from 2009 to 2011. But he's trading in that image for an attempt to run for Congress in his Leyte hometown. He's going up against Richard Gomez, mayor of Ormoc City, who's looking to trade places with wife Lucy Torres Gomez and gun for Leyte's 4th Congressional District. Goyo joins us from Ormoc via Zoom. Good evening, Sir Goyo. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Wag lang, sir. Goyo lang.
Goyo.
Ano yan?
Okay, okay. From Comelec commissioner to candidate. So, and you said on Twitter on the day you filed your COC, your certificate of candidacy, that, and we quote, "What started in Comelec ends here in Ormoc." Can you describe in less than a minute that journey for us?
Well, I was raised by my parents to do public service and help people. I grew up in Ormoc. I'm a full-blooded Ormocanon. And we help people all over the Philippines now with electoral reform. But now it's it's time to refocus and help the people in the district.
Your parents, your mother Adelina was governor, your father Emeterio was Ormoc City mayor, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. But Goya, you were supposed to run for senator. Why go for a congressional seat instead? And, were your numbers too low or was it local politics?
Local politics, kasi I've been asked to run in local politics matagal na. I always said no. But because of the problems here in the district, you really need to help people. And one of the, well, if you run for Senate naman, your constituency is national. Diba? There are some laws which I intend to pass which are national in scope. And I can still do that as a congressman, diba?
Right.
I can still do that. I can still pass the revised omnibus election code. I can still pass or push for other laws that can help the whole Philippines. But I can also address the concerns of the district.
Yeah, we're going to go back to your proposed legislation in just a bit. No? But I wanted to ask you first, what's it like to run against Richard Gomez against Coma? His surveys show him well ahead. What do your surveys tell you and what do you hear on the ground?
I like our trajectory, and I like the way we've been doing things. I don't wanna say the numbers we have, but I'm pretty happy where we are now. But every day is a challenge. Every day is a challenge to educate people. Every day is a challenge to make the life of people we talk to better. And every day is an opportunity to make things better for the district.
Okay. Koya, can you describe the 4th district of Leyte where you're running? No? So that's Ormoc City plus 6 municipalities.
Yes.
Albuera, Isabel, Cananga or Cananga?
Kananga.
Cananga, Matago, Merida, and Palumpon.
Yes. So 6 municipalities in one city. It's about 325 registered, 25,000 registered voters. There's such opportunity for the district to grow. Unfortunately, the services that the people in the district need haven't been provided to them. So we need to address those.
Okay. And when you talk about providing those services, I was reading up on your platform for your district. No? So repair of barangay roads, over-the-counter meds, medicine, solar streetlights, water, barangay-based hospitals. But these are things that lawmakers, ideally, in an ideal setting, should not have to provide, but it's happening all over the country, no? And this is something that you're also going to have to do, right?
Yes, but like for example, the healthcare system in the district, it's so Ormoc centered. In fact, literally everybody in the district, if they need to have an X-ray, they have to go to Ormoc. If they have to have the dialysis, they have to go to Ormoc. If they have to have the ultrasound, they have to go to Ormoc. This cannot be. You need to decentralize the healthcare services and make it available to the people in the different municipalities. This hasn't been taken care of for such a long time.
Well, how far are those municipalities from Ormoc?
Well,
And how long does it take for people? Yeah, I mean, if they don't have transportation, how long will it take for them to get to Ormoc?
Well, down south, Albuera is about 25 minutes. Up north, the farthest is about an hour and a half. Palumpon, if you take the diversion road, it's about an hour. But that's not the distance is not the point. Because last year when Ormoc went to a lockdown, no one could go inside Ormoc. And so people, literally, there were some people who died in the borders. People who couldn't enter Ormoc City to get medical treatment died. And that's scandalous. We cannot let that happen again. We need to make sure that healthcare services are provided to the residents in the district.
I enumerated the 6 municipalities apart from Ormoc that make up the 4th district because I wanted to ask this question of you. And, is this relevant to you? No? Which one, or is there a bellwether? No? Is it Ormoc for the 4th district? Meaning, if this goes for you, the rest of the district follows. Is it Ormoc City or is it one of the other municipalities? And how strong or weak are you in that area?
Well, Ormoc City is comprises about 45% thereabouts of the whole voting population in the district. The next biggest LGU is municipality of Palumpon. I'm from Ormoc, so I believe we can get votes here. My family is from Ormoc. In fact, I used to, when I was in grade school, I used to be a sacristan in St. Peter's and Paul Parish. So I know the people here.
Okay. All politics is local, like we all know, and national candidates need to woo the local candidates. So the next question is, who are your presidential and vice presidential bets? This is something I asked you before we started the
Yes.
show. You have a very interesting answer. Okay, go ahead.
I ran as an independent. I believe all the presidential candidates are friends of mine. It's going to be a family decision who we vote for. At this point in time, I would encourage Pia, all your viewers, to vet the candidates they want to vote for, not just for president, but down to councilor. What are their platform government? What are their track record? What's their track record? What can they do not only for the country, but for example, for an LGU official or candidate, what can they do for the municipality or city?
So you're not exactly answering the question, Goyo. You're not saying who you're going to vote for or who you prefer.
But I'm saying, yeah, I'm saying, I run as independent. I'm categorized as an independent candidate.
Yeah.
But if there are candidates who want me to help them, I will help them because they're all friends.
But you have chosen someone, a tandem that you will vote for. You have.
Not yet. Sorry,
Not yet. Okay. But you also said earlier, no, that you're running so that you can advocate for electoral reform and you work to revise the, for example, omnibus election code provisions. Like which ones?
Oh, where to start? First,
You have
okay,
less than 3 minutes, huh?
Okay, less than 3 minutes. First, you have to look at how do you merge the different provisions of the different laws. Some refer to manual elections, some refer to automated elections. Then you look at the penalties for acts committed by candidates and supporters. Then you look at the process on how to make it more efficient. Then you also look at this expense limit for candidates to incur on during the campaign period. You also have to look at the categorization of a candidate after the filing, because of current jurisprudence, you're a candidate only at the start of the campaign period. We have to address that. We have to change that.
Okay. In other words, an overhaul,
Oh,
almost
yes.
complete overhaul of
Yes. And
age-old vintage.
Yes,
laws
I've
and-
spoken to former COMELEC commissioners. I've spoken to COMELEC officials, and I've already told them that if hopefully I win, I need their help because we need a holistic approach on how to make the elections even better.
And if you don't make it, what are you going to do? Are you going to go back on the road, either on your Defender or your bike, and to your music? What are you going to do?
Well, Pia, I'm an election lawyer and I'm an election reform advocate. I'll always be involved in public service, whether as a member of the House of Representatives or as Goyo. You continue to do good for people whenever you can.
Goyo
that's-
Larazapa.
yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying? You're going to
That's-
join us in the last segment of the show, so
Yeah,
you can
okay.
save that for that final segment. Goyo
Okay.
Larazabal, a congressional district candidate for the 4th District of Leyte. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you in the last segment of the show. Like I said, we'll be back after break. This is Politics as Usual.
SMC, San Miguel Corporation. Bisag unsang industriya ang sudlan niini, tinguha sa SMC ang pag-uswag o paglambo sa mga Pilipino. Karon, gikan sa SMC, aniya na ang SMC Davao Cement. SMC Davao Cement. Gama sa Davao, para sa Mindanao. SMC Davao Cement. Ato ni Bay.
Welcome back. This is Politics as Usual, your weekly political appointment fix. Glad you're staying with us. How lucky can Vico Soto get? The first timer in Pasig politics when he ran for mayor in 2019, and now 92% in Publicus Asia's survey of Metro Manila mayoral candidates and their chances against the rival who just filed a cyber libel case against him. On Friday, Vico starts his re-election campaign. Mayor Vico Soto, welcome to the show and to the studio.
Hi, Miss Pia. Thank you for having me.
Pia lang, don't say Miss Pia.
Respect to elders daw po.
Aray ko, ano yan? Okay, let's talk about your rival, si Vice Mayor Iyo Bernardo, no? So, meron siyang Facebook post about yung pag-file niya ng cyber libel case against you, no? Tapos, nag-comment ka ng haha or something. Give us a little background first of that case. And, did you say anything libelous about him?
Well, obviously, I don't think I said anything libelous.
What did you say, and when, and where?
During one flag ceremony, one Monday morning, I was responding to some of the complaints or allegations that he was making. And I told him, through the flag ceremony, hindi ko naman siya nakakausap eh. Sinabi ko sa kanya na sana kung meron siyang complaints, use the formal mechanisms of the city first. Use the local special bodies, which he is actually a member of.
And he is vice mayor anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. So he has access to those channels.
Basically, what I was saying is that okay lang manguna. Okay lang na punahin niya ako. That's part of my work. To be criticized is part of my work. And I accept criticisms wholeheartedly. And sometimes we get good things from criticisms. But bago ka mag-post sa Facebook or kung saan-saan magsasalita, membro ka naman ng local special. Halimbawa, reklamo sa basura. Member naman siya, pwede naman siya kahit hindi formal member, as vice mayor, he can always attend the Solid Waste Management Board.
Doesn't he? Doesn't he attend?
Not really, but Ms. Pia, I would rather not talk about it din kasi unfair din naman sa kanya, hindi naman siya makakasagot ngayong gabi. So, I don't want to be unfair to him also.
Yeah, but he also said, just one last thing, he also said that you were saying things about his family. Did you say anything about his family?
I've never said anything about his family.
And so you did not say anything libelous about him, in other words, or his family, no?
Yeah, I really
Okay.
didn't.
Okay, let's move on.
Tsaka
Sige.
hindi cyber. Sorry lang.
Yeah, hindi cyber. Hindi cyber,
I
okay.
didn't post anything online or say anything online. That was physically,
Right,
in person.
like you said, during the flag ceremony.
Yes, so,
Okay, all right. Let's move on. Like I said, so you have an uncle running for vice president, so si Tito Sen, Senate President Tito Soto, and you had a meeting with him and his running mate, Ping Lacson, that your dad set up, or at least that's what your dad said. And then last Sunday, Lenny Robredo paid a courtesy call on you before she went to her rally, in Ortigas. And I remember when you explained why you didn't want to have to support or endorse a presidential candidate and a presidential and vice presidential tandem. And I paraphrase, you said that you needed to concentrate on the city's problems. But recently, you've been quoted as saying that people, your constituents, should be able to choose well on their own. No? What comes to mind is all politics is local.
Right.
Because syempre, yung mga national candidates talagang manunuyo yan di ba?
Right.
Lalapit sila sa inyo as mga
Right.
local candidates. No? So give us an idea about what you're going through, what you meant by, I want to concentrate on Pasig. Ayoko makialam dun sa national politics.
There are two major reasons why I'm not endorsing any national candidate. Number one, my mandate right now is to focus on Pasig. Mabigat yung ginagawa namin mga pagbabago sa Pasig. Hindi madali yung laban namin. Madugo yung laban na ginagawa namin para linisin ang ating pamahalaan. Number two, we have to look at the history of Pasig and the reason why I ran for mayor in the first place. Ang Pasigenyo, nanawa na kami sa dikta, sa pananakot, masyadong napupolitika lahat ng mga bagay. So we're coming from that history. Now we want to make a stand that Pasig is open. Ang mayor ngayon hindi magdidikta sa inyo. So I hope, especially if you're not from Pasig, maybe you wouldn't understand. I know some people also criticize me for not endorsing national candidates, but we have to understand the context and the history of Pasig and why I'm going a little bit to the extreme of not endorsing anyone. But again, it's to move away from what we were before. Na may pananakot from City Hall, na may dikta galing sa mayor.
Moving away from patronage politics or from...
That also, yes.
Yeah, yung para bang pag ako mayor, huwag kayo mag-alala, yung mga boto ng mga tao dito sa inyo yan lahat. Hindi,
Yes,
that doesn't
so,
work, right? I mean...
Anyway, naniniwala naman ako, ang Pasigenyo, matatalino, mapanuri. So, we can stand on our own and think for ourselves as Pasigenyos. Hindi na kailangan ng mayor para magsabi na, hindi, dito tayo lahat. Again, it's going, I know it's a little bit extreme what I'm doing right now, but we didn't get to where we are in Pasig by not being extreme. We had to take stands, and kung ano yung dati, medyo opposite tayo kasi ito, naninindigan lang naman tayo. We're moving away from the culture of patronage, the culture of fear, the culture of traditional politics.
The culture of a city mayor promising the votes in his city to the candidate.
Wala naman pong ganun eh.
Yeah,
Just like when I ran for mayor, none of the barangay captains supported me. They all promised the incumbent that he would win in their barangays,
And he didn't.
X number of votes.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, it's the same for me. Barangay captains can't really deliver votes sa barangay, and the same, mayors can't really deliver votes in cities or municipalities. That's a myth.
Yeah.
Minsan nakakachamba. If I endorse a certain candidate, minsan kasi malakas na, kaya rin naman ni-endorse eh. But kung ako magsabi, candidate A tayo, hindi naman ibig sabihin susunod lahat ng Pasigueño. And again, that's one of the things that we're fighting against.
Yeah.
We want to go against that, that system, that culture of politics. the
For that
traditional
matter, in any
politics.
other city or in any other municipality or in any part of the country, right? But so you're not going to endorse a candidate for president and or vice president. You're not going to announce it either.
Right.
But of course, you are going to vote for a president and a vice. Have you at least made up your mind already? Kanina I asked Goyo, and he said he hasn't made up his mind. Lahat sila kaibigan. Parang pareho kayo ng position. Have you made up your mind?
Right now, I wouldn't say I've made up my mind 100%, but I have my leanings.
Okay, so you're choosing
if I had,
between.
if there were a ballot in front of me right now, I would know who I would shade.
Yeah.
But yun pa ba sa Mayo? Not 100% sure.
Okay. But you're choosing what? Between 2 or 3? 2.
Sa presidente,
Oo.
gusto?
I'm not naman asking you to name them eh.
Yung mga tao,
Oo.
ano na yun eh, they will try to guess, haka-haka na yan.
Yeah. Oo. Okay. I wanted, since we talked about passing the barangay captains, and you were saying, hindi naman totoo yan eh, na parang, and like you said, no, chamba, that's a very good word to use to describe the situation on the ground. But, if you talk about the barangays in Pasig, no, is there such a thing as one particular barangay or a few are the bellwethers, the ones that will determine if this one goes for you, the rest follows? Meron bang ganon? And this is just for mga people who are interested in local politics.
Hindi po ako naniniwala na may ganun. We have 30 barangays very different from each other. Meron kaming barangay na nasa 2,000 lang yung populasyon. Meron kaming barangay na nasa ilang 100,000,
Yeah.
or 150,000 plus.
Oo.
So,
And then iba-ibang economic status syempre, no?
iba-ibang economic
Oo.
status,
Yeah. Okay.
iba-iba yung physical, yung itsura. So, I wouldn't say that there's one yung
Wala
susunod
naman.
lahat. Every barangay has its own unique characteristics.
Okay. Earlier you were saying that you had your hands are full in Pasig. There's so much that you needed to fix, no? And now, Publicus Asia, like I said earlier, they're saying 92%, no? That's your chances, no, of winning. Can you tell us what else would you like to do for Pasig? What else are you going to do if you do win in May?
Number one, we have to continue the reforms. We've started a lot, especially with our procurement process. We really cleaned up the system. But number two, we want to continue with our advocacies, particularly for universal healthcare. Because of COVID-19, I think it's understandable that a lot of our plans for UHC have been delayed. But even with the delays, we've made a big progress. We've started no balance billing in our hospitals, in our city-run hospitals.
No balance billing meaning?
Zero balance billing. So walang binabayaran yung mga constituents pag may hirap. Sa aming dalawang city-run hospital, we've created more than 1,000 plantilla positions, new plantilla positions for our city health department, at marami pang iba. Kaso dahil sa pandemya, dahil sa COVID-19, ay kinailangan din namin gumawa ng mga hakbang para sa COVID response. Halimbawa, yung ospital namin, kinonvert namin panandalian para maging COVID referral center. We had to increase the number of beds from 60 plus beds to almost 200 beds. we had to establish a Pasig City Molecular Laboratory, contact tracing center. We had to hire emergency healthcare workers for COVID response, and I can go on and on for an hour just detailing the things that we've had to do for COVID-19. So everything that we've had to do for COVID-19, we understand why we need to do that, or why we needed to do that. Unfortunately, it's every step we make for COVID, that's resources that we could have used to implement universal healthcare in the long run. Of course, hindi naman yan binary na you have to choose one or the other. Yung iba naman may byproduct din na ngayon magagamit namin for COVID-19, pero in the long run magagamit din naman talaga for healthcare services in Pasig towards UHC. But again, unfortunately, we have to admit that there are setbacks also. So we need to realign and re-strategize moving forward, especially at the tail end of the pandemic. We're happy with the progress that we've made, whether it's universal healthcare and all of the other things that we've done in the last 3 years, but not as fast as we would have done if not for the pandemic.
Yung sinasabing 92% ng publicization, do you feel that?
Well, I don't want to be overconfident. Sa akin naman, whether 92% or 29%, pareho lang naman ang gagawin ko eh. Work as hard as I can and do everything that we can and try to implement the programs and projects as we've planned.
Your allies, Roman Romulo running for Congress
Yes.
again, Dudu Jaworski, who is your running mate. Let's talk about them for a while.
Well, Kong Roman has been with me from the start. Without a Congressman Roman, there is no Mayor Vico.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he was with me every step of the way. I wouldn't have decided to run for mayor in the first place if not for kung di ko alam na pwede kong sandalan si Kong Roman. We've been partners ever since. For before the pandemic, we saw each other every day for maybe more than 1 year straight na talaga nagsawa na kami sa isa't isa. Pero he's been such a big help. He's very level-headed. Kahit di niya natrabaho, ginagawa niya, makatulong lang sa akin. Which is especially helpful considering that in 2019, we did not have a full slate. Wala kaming pinatakbong vice mayor, wala kaming kasamang konsyal, except one per district, pero 6 yun eh. So, thankfully, nanalo din siya. Kung hindi, talagang hindi ko alam kung anong gagawin ko. Hindi sa tulong niya, hirap ng nag-iisa kasi I have to, I always remind myself also that I entered this arena not to win elections, but I decided to run for mayor to institute changes in our city.
Public service. And Dudu Jaworski, very briefly.
Well, Dodo Jaworski, hopefully Vice Mayor Dodo Jaworski very soon. As a mayor, I need to have a vice mayor. Or it will be very, very helpful to have a vice mayor who, para sa akin, hindi sapat yung magaling, matalino, masipag. Kailangan may integridad at kailangan kapareho ng prinsipyo ko. We have our vision and our principles have to be aligned.
Right.
And to put it very bluntly, I saw that in all of the potential candidates at the time for vice mayor, kay Dodo Jaworski ko nakita yun.
Okay, we have less than a minute to go, but let's pretend this last minute is Sports Desk with Andre Felix. That's 10 a.m. every morning, by the way, Mondays to Fridays. And I saw this video of you on Instagram, and let's watch it first for a while.
Basketball, yeah.
Okay.
Pero kanina umaga nag-notice na ako.
Ano yan? Kaninang umaga, ano yan, Vico? Mayor Vico?
I was on a very hot streak. Malakas lang talaga chumamba sa basketball.
Chamba na naman.
Pero kaninang umaga, pumalya na.
Okay, I was about to say, let's talk about that lucky shot of yours. Ang swerte mo na sa politika, swerte mo pa sa basketball. And I was telling you na nga, di ba, pag hindi ka pa nanalo dahil sa shot na yan, ewan ko na. So, Vico, Mayor Vico Soto, you're going to join us in the last segment of the show together with Goyo Larzabal and our last guest who's coming up after this break, Cebu gubernatorial candidate Ace Durano. Politics as usual. We'll be right back. This is Politics as Usual. Ace Durano is no stranger to Cebu politics. He comes from a long line of politicians, sign of political dynasty, and has himself served in Congress for 3 terms. He also was Tourism Secretary during the Arroyo administration. Now he's making a comeback, challenging Gwen Garcia for the gubernatorial post of the province of Cebu. And Ace Duran joining us now live from Cebu via Zoom. Hi, should I call you Kong Ace, Governor Ace, Secretary Ace?
Hi, Pia. Just Ace will do.
Ace, yeah. Hi, long time no see. I covered you a long time ago. But anyway, okay, let's begin with this, Ace. We don't have that much time, but if you can squeeze it all into like a minute and a half, can you describe the dynamics and history of Cebu politics when it comes to the Garcia and the Durano families, your family, and of course the more recent addition to Cebuano politics, the Davides, as Hilario Davide III is your running mate?
Right. Well, the Garcias have been in the province as governor of Cebu for more than 2 decades. And this is the first entry for this generation of Duranos into the province. Vice Governor Junjun Davide, my running mate, was governor of Cebu for 2 terms in 2013 and 2016. And he is seeking re-election as vice governor of Cebu.
Interesting, Ace, when you said no, this generation of Duranos, because your father before you, right, no, was also congressman, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so long-time political families, in other words. What are your chances, you think, against Gwen Garcia? Because you've been described as the underdog because daw, hawak daw ni Gwen ang mga mayors. And interestingly enough, kanina lang, Mayor Vico of Pasig here and I were talking about, minsan hindi naman totoo yung hawak ang mayor, hawak ang barangay captain, di ba?
Yeah, I'd like to use the word challenger because of the root word challenge. It is really a challenge. I've been realistic about it from the start, but there are several factors in my favor. First, of course, the younger demographics in this coming election. Second is really the poor performance of the provincial hospitals during the pandemic up to this time, and the poor response as well of the province after Odette. So there are several dynamics here or factors that's in my favor.
What do you want to do for Cebu that Gwen Garcia cannot do?
Well, I'm part of this movement called the Better Cebu movement. And there are really 5 pillars in this movement. First, it's a better provincial healthcare system. Second, better people-centered programs. Third, better economic opportunities. Fourth, better infrastructure project. And lastly, to tie this all up, is better governance. So this is really why we're calling it a Better Cebu movement.
All right. This is a question I asked of Mayor Vico and of Goyo Larzabal just moments ago, also here in the show. Goyo, of course, running for the 4th District of Leyte for Congress. So, Ace, I wanted to ask you, because all politics is local, yung mga national, syempre, nanunuyo ng local. So it's interesting to see which presidential and vice presidential tandem get the support of Cebu's politicos, including you, of course. You had this March 9 gathering that saw your supporters who, have different choices no, in terms of presidentiables and vice presidentiables. Your running mate, si Junjun Davide, is supporting Lenny, hindi ba? But you haven't declared for anyone, although your local party is for BBM Sara, correct? So the question now here is, who are you and your family inclined to support? And have you made that decision already, and are you willing to share that with us?
No, as far as our district party is concerned, the Backward Party, they have really declared already support for the BBM Sara tandem. As far as the national party, which I'm a part of now, which is PPP,
Partido Pilipino
they have an
Pagbabago.
official.
Okay.
That's right. And the only official candidate of the party is Mayor Inday for vice president. They have not endorsed yet a presidential candidate. So that's where I am. And as far as this movement is concerned, a Better Cebu movement, all the supporters, all the followers, of this movement come from different presidential camps. And this makes, this election quite different for me, for the province, because as far as the advocacy I'm championing, it's really part of a multi-sectoral, multi-party movement.
Yeah.
So it makes it, and the important thing for me that this is the situation is it puts the agenda of Cebu first. I understand it's a presidential election. Everybody has in mind their own presidential and vice presidential candidates. But it's also important that we also, at the same time, give importance to what is important for the province, for the people of Cebu. And with this movement, what we are prioritizing and putting forward is an agenda for Cebu.
That's interesting to hear. To put the agenda of Cebu first in the same way that, like Mayor Vico was saying, di ba? What is important for Pasig? What Goy was saying, what's important for Leyte, the 4th district, anyway. I wanted to ask this also of you, Ace. Is there such a thing as like a bellwether municipality or city in the province of Cebu? Meaning, if this municipality or city goes for you, then the rest will follow. Or that you need to win this one, and then you can win the entire province. Meron bang ganon? And I'm speaking in terms of local politics.
That's right. Well, if just looking at it historically, each gubernatorial candidate won using a different formula. So I would think it would be very different as well in this election, especially with this younger demographic. I really believe there will be more independent voters in this election compared to the last election. So it's really difficult to say that you need this town and that town to win. At this point in time, I cannot really say. I would think that in this election, if whoever wins in this election, it will be a very different formula.
Interesting. I wanted to ask you these last two questions. So, second to the last question. In January, the Sandigan Bayan upheld this graft conviction of you and a few others for the printing of 2.7 million pesos worth of wall calendars of the tourism department, of which you were secretary for a while. We're all used to years, the years it takes for courts to rule on cases. But how does this affect your run for the gubernatorial post of Cebu?
Well, this case is on appeal in the Supreme Court right now, so it's pending there. And most of the people I've talked to about this, it's quite simple to them. This was a 2008 project of DOT. I was in DOT until 2010, and if there was really an anomaly here, they could have really run after me then when I was still in DOT, and not 10 years after the project was implemented, not after 10 years my term in DOT ended. So I can really see that it's not an issue. It's not in the minds of people. Most of the issues right now here on the minds of people are really the after effect of the death of the pandemic, difficulties in terms of accessing good healthcare, jobs, livelihood. This is really what's on top of their minds right now. And this is what the agenda of a Better Cebu movement is all about.
All right. And just my one last question. Your chances of winning in this election, even as we described you earlier as the underdog? Very briefly.
No, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think I had a chance of winning. And I would think that Vice Governor Junjun Davide, with his reputation, would not also partner with me in this journey, in this advocacy, in this cause, if he didn't think we would win.
Thank you so much, Ace Durano, running for governor of Cebu, challenging Gwen Garcia. We'll have more from our three guests, Goy Larzabal, Vico Soto, and Ace Durano, gunning for local posts in the May elections. When we come back, stay tuned. Be right back. We are on our final stretch. This is Politics as Usual, your weekly political appointment fix here on CNN Philippines. I'm Pia Ontiveros. Still with us, Pasig City re-electionist Mayor Vico Soto, who is here in the studio. Leyte 4th Congressional District candidate Gregorio Goyo Larzabal, former Comelec Commissioner, joining us via Zoom. And also via Zoom, gubernatorial candidate Ace Durano for the province of Cebu. He is also a former 3-term congressman, 2 terms muna, back-to-back, and then another term afterwards. And Ace also was tourism secretary in the past during the Arroyo administration. And Goy, of course, was Comelec commissioner from 2009 to 2011. Tama ba yun? Yes, tama yun. Okay. We have enough time for final words. So we're going to begin with Ace Durano first. Ace?
Pia, thank you for having me. Sa tanan lang na akong mga kaigsuunan din sa Cebu, kumpara ninyo, ang ayan nato paniduton pa ang serbisyo sa atong mga provincial o district hospital. So para ninyo, paninduton pa ang paghatag og ayuda sa kadaghanan ng kalisod. Let's do and let's follow a better Cebu. Kuyugi mi ninyo. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ace Durano. I wanted to ask you to translate, but I think we get the drift of what you're saying. Salamat. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Goyo Larzabal, who's running for Congressman, 4th District, Leyte.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell everybody that, I can stand up to any scrutiny when it comes to my record as a public servant, use a fine-tooth comb, as I have nothing to hide. Any person running for any public office should be able to withstand that kind of scrutiny. Doesn't matter who. I am a true Leyteñon. I hold the values of a normal canon. I do not need to lie. I do not need to invent. I will do a positive campaign to tell the people what we can do for them in the next 3 years.
Thank you so much, Goyo Larzabal. And of course, Mayor Vico Soto, who's running for re-election here at the city of Pasig. Mayor Vico?
Sa mga kapwa ko Pasigenyo, nitong nakaraang 3 taon, marami po tayong napagtagumpayan, marami po tayong nagawa. Natamaan pa tayo ng pandemya niyan at kami lang po ni Kong Roman ang talagang magkasama sa politika. Kaya sa susunod, sigurado pong mas mapapaganda pa natin ang serbisyo sa Lungsod Pasig, basta't magtutulungan po tayo. Tuloy-tuloy po ang pagbabago na ginagawa natin sa Lungsod ng Pasig.
Thank you so much to all our guests tonight. Earlier in the show, we had, of course, the slice of national politics. We had Senator Coco Pimentel talking about the PDP Laban Faction's endorsement of the candidacy of Bongbong Marcos. And of course, to our guests in this last segment of the show, the last 4 segments of the show, former Commissioner Goy Larzabal, who is running, like I said, for the 4th District of Leyte against Rich Gomez. Is Duran. Yes. Yes.
Just remind everybody that please go out and vote on May 9. The vote you're going to cast is not for you alone, it's for your kids and grandchildren. Value that vote, please.
All right. I'm sure that's the same message from Mayor Vico and Ace Durano also. And of course, Ace Durano, who is running against Gwen Garcia, running for governor of Cebu, and Pasig City Mayor Vico Soto running for re-election. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Thank you so much. We've been told before, don't talk politics at the dinner table or at a family reunion or in Viber groups and risk digital warfare. But we can talk about it here at this table on this show, your weekly political appointment fix, Politics as Usual. I'm Pia Ontiveros. See you back here next Tuesday, 8 p.m.